Hey guys, welcome back to the Duck Under with Austin Pettigrew, and today we'll be going over the 133 weight class for the NCAA National Championships this year. So let's start out with some of the storylines for 133. So the big one is, who will be the new champion at 133? As most of you know, Seth Gross had the medical red shirt this year. Before we knew it was a medical red shirt, of course, but Seth Gross got hurt this year. Supposed to wrestle Dayton Fix in the South Dakota State versus OSU duel, but was unable to. Figured out he was hurt. As most of you probably know already, he got a medical red shirt, so he'll be able to wrestle next year. Wherever, I don't know yet. I have my own assumption, which I'll talk about at the end of this video. And so let's kind of get it started with. So the storyline, main one is, who will be the new king at 133? And you had at least 5 title contenders. So let's run through them. You had Nicky Suriano, the eventual champion. Dayton Fix, the redshirt freshman All-American stud. The guy who people thought would be the champion. Steven Michik, the dude who has probably one of the greatest talents in the world, but was hurt this year a little. Austin Dos Santos, the crazy wrestler who does anything to win, you could say. And I'll even throw this one out here. Luke Pletcher, kind of under the radar type of guy who people didn't really believe in, unless you're an Ohio State fan, of course, but really showed up at the tournament. So that was one of the main storylines. Who will be the new national champion? And we got our answer. Nick Suriano, whenever he defeated Dayton Fix in the finals. And so let's move on to the next one, which was a storyline, but did not come true. People wondered, will Fix start his journey to be a 4-timer? And that was a storyline going through. People thought Dayton Fix would win it. I thought Dayton Fix would win it, I'll be honest with you. Nothing against Nick Suriano. But, people thought Dayton Fix was going to win it. And so the people were saying, man, he's going to be a 4-timer. Look at him. He's a stud. He has what it takes to be a national champion this year as a redshirt freshman. But as we know by now, Fix will not be a 4-timer, and right now he just needs to work on becoming a national champion, I would say, because this is the toughest weight class of all time. And this leads into the next one. So, another storyline. John Smith said himself, the toughest weight class ever in a national champion. If you look through all the people who could have possibly All-American this year, you will see that there are at least 12 or 13 guys who could have All-American. There are only 8 placers, people. I mean, that's crazy in itself. But here you go. You have what John Smith even said, the toughest weight class ever. This 133 weight class will only get tougher. We're going to add Seth Gross possibly next year. But so let's kind of go on to the last storyline. Rutgers got their first national champion. So, Rutgers, not really the highest of prestige programs, but they built their way up. They built their way up from the bottom. They had Coach Scott Goodale, who helped guide them through there. Scott Goodale is a great coach, and he proved it there. Whenever I talk about 149, I'll talk about Anthony Ashnault and the mobbing, but that'll be for another video. But Scott Goodale proved how good of a coach he is, and proved that Rutgers can produce national champions, because he had 2 himself. Nick Suriano and Anthony Ashnault. But we're going to focus on Nick Suriano. So Nick Suriano became Rutgers' first national champion ever. That's a great accomplishment in itself. Congratulations to Nick Suriano. That was a storyline. Will Rutgers get its first national champion? If it wasn't going to be at 133, which it was going to be at 149. But, Nick Suriano holds that honor. Hey, I'm the first national champion for Rutgers. But, let's go ahead and get into the All-Americans. So, for the championship, you had Nick Suriano versus Dayton Fix. For those of you who watched their previous match against each other, in high school they hold the longest match ever. And for those who watched the Rutgers versus OSU duel, I watched it through Flow, and it was a good match until the end. There was controversy. Hands in the face was the call, and Fix won it. Fix won that match because of the hands in the face call. But yeah. So Nick Suriano and Fix, they had a match. A lot of controversy under it. And both of them, actually. But in their first one, hands to the face, was called. Fix won. And this helped Fix end up getting the number 1 seed at the tournament. And so Suriano had a gauntlet to battle through. And this guy wrestled the best he could have wrestled to get through this gauntlet. So let's kind of talk about Suriano's path. Fix's path wasn't as hard. By any means, I'm not going to say. But Suriano's path is impressive. So, in his round of 16 match, the second round, he faces Corbin Myers. Corbin Myers isn't an easy match whatsoever. This dude's a tough battler from Virginia Tech. And then he gets into his quarterfinals match, and he faces backpack himself, Ethan Lezak. Lezak, a former national runner-up to Darian Cruz. I love Lezak. I was kind of hoping Lezak would win, but again, another tough path. And Suriano pinned him. I mean, that's the crazy part. And Suriano pinned him. And then you get to a semifinals match. You get Nick Suriano versus Steven Micic, the 3 versus 2 seed. And Suriano beats him 4-1. Micic gets outclassed by Suriano. So then we get to the finals. So before that, let's talk a little bit about Fix's path. So Fix, he had to face his most notable first tough match was, I would say, is John Ernesti. John Ernesti's a classy guy, good wrestler. He made the podium this year. Congratulations, John Ernesti. But again, he wasn't one of the top title contender guys. Semifinals, you get against Luke Pletcher. Luke Pletcher's tough. In my opinion, I thought Luke Pletcher was a title contender this year. And he proved it himself. Fix only decision 4-2. So, and Pletcher did end up getting 4th, which we'll talk about in a minute. But, so that was more Fix's path. Fix, you could argue, had the lighter path. And, so, now we get to the finals. And Suriano controlled the match the whole time. Simple as that. He dictated where we're going to be in the circle. Where we're going to be here. Where we're going to be there. And he dictated it. And, went through the overtimes. Went through first, second, third. And they went to their second overtime altogether. And a lot of controversy here. Was it a headgear pull? Was it not? I don't care what it was. Nick Suriano won. Congratulations, Nick Suriano. Again, most of you know I'm an OSU fan. Did I think it was a headgear pull? I can see it both ways. I can see how it was. I can see how it's not. But, Suriano had a point where he said, Fix quit. Here's what he meant by that. I don't think he meant Fix like he broke Fix or anything. I think he meant it like, if you watch the video, if you watch it on YouTube or anything, Fix was expecting the call. And so he stopped wrestling. Rule number 1 of wrestling, never stop wrestling until you hear the ref's whistle blow. And so Fix stopped wrestling and gave Suriano the takedown, thinking, okay, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get these headgear violation points. And he did it. Lost. Boo-hoo. So, yeah. So, for first and second, you have Suriano first, Fix second. So, let's get in the third and fourth place match now. You have Steven Micic versus Luke Pletcher. And Steven Micic, people said he was hurt all this year. People were upset that he got the number 2 seed this year because he died. Once he was a placer at Big Tens, he medical forfeited out. So there was that story. How bad is Steven Micic hurt? And Steven Micic must not have been hurt bad because he wrestled good in this tournament. He wrestled a tough Luke Pletcher for third and fourth. He wrestled Austin DeSantos, beat him 3-2. And then he wrestled Thorne from Purdue. And Thorne ain't someone to mess with. He's a good wrestler too. So Luke Pletcher. So Luke Pletcher had a path, you could say. Luke Pletcher beats a tough Montori Bridges 5-3. Love Montori Bridges. Montori Bridges is a tough kid. Former All-American, then All-American this year. Mickey Philippi. I'll get to him in a minute because, like I said, I feel like he was the biggest disappointment at this tournament. Then he faces Fix, wrestles him 4-2. He has to face Austin DeSanto in the consolation semifinals and beats him pretty handedly. Well, I'm not going to say handedly, but if you watch the match, you'd understand what I mean. He beat him 7-6 and got 4th. So again, Micic, Pletcher, 3rd and 4th. For the 5th and 6th match, you have Austin DeSanto. DeSanto had been running crazy with all his antics. You remember last year in the tournament, he did what people called the flying Kimura on Micic to try to hurt him. This kind of got him his reputation of the crazy man from Iowa. But I'm not going to say we saw a reserved Austin DeSanto, but we saw a more focused Austin DeSanto. I believe Austin DeSanto can be a national champion if he keeps on working and keeps on applying his craziness in a way that drives him. And again, DeSanto had a path himself. DeSanto is one of those guys that you always got to look out for. This dude can upset anyone, and this dude can be upsetting. You know, he faced Austin Gomez in this tournament, and he faced him before. He got beat by Austin Gomez. He had to face him in the blood round. He beat him 16-5. So that just proves that Austin DeSanto can get his win back no matter what, and that he's a top-level guy. John Ernesti. In my opinion, I wrote off John Ernesti, and I shouldn't have done that. John Ernesti proved me wrong, and he beat a tough Tariq Wilson. I love Tariq Wilson. Dude from NC State, former All-American, great wrestler, great person, but John Ernesti kind of upset me a little whenever he beat Tariq Wilson. So, you know, he goes against RBY in his consolation quarter. Well, he beats RBY 10-0. That's a statement right there. You know, RBY is still young. RBY still has a lot of growing to do, but RBY is going to be a good wrestler. And so John Ernesti puts it on. He ends up getting 6. That's a good tournament for John Ernesti. So let's get to 7th and 8th. My favorite dude at this weight, 133, Ethan Lezak, sends it off with a 7th place finish. You know, go from being a national runner-up to finishing off your career for 7th place. 3-time All-American. Congratulations to Ethan Lezak. This dude had a gauntlet himself. If you did not watch Ethan Lezak versus Tariq Wilson, I suggest you go watch that match. That match was crazy. That's one of the best matches of the tournament, no matter what anyone says. That's my number 3 match of the tournament. But, yeah, Ethan Lezak finishes it off pretty handedly against RBY. And so, let's talk about RBY. You know, people kind of didn't have RBY as this All-American this year. You know, he's from Penn State, as most of us know. But people didn't have RBY All-American. I did, because I think RBY is a good wrestler. I think he has a lot of potential. And, yeah, RBY battles his way through. Man, in his blood round, RBY had a tough match. RBY was able to beat Mickey Philippi 4-3 to get into the blood round. And that shows you the guts and willingness to win for RBY. And RBY deserved that win. I don't care what anyone says. RBY deserved that win, and he got it. And so now we let's kind of run back through the All-Americans. And so let's run back through the All-Americans. So you have Suriano at number 1. You have Fix finishing 2nd. You have Michik finishing 3rd. Pletcher finishing 4th. DeSantos finishing 5th. Ernesti finishing 6th. Lezak finishing at 7th. And RBY finishing 8th. This was the toughest weight class at this tournament. All these guys deserve their wins. These guys worked for it. Loved this weight class. Some people argued about the seeding. You know, I don't remember who said it, but someone put it best. That if you don't care about the seeds, you just go out there and wrestle, whoever the opponent is in front of you. Most impressive in this weight class, you know, you may expect me to hear Suriano, Fix, or any of those guys. I'm not going to say those guys because, again, they were impressive, but I felt like it was natural for them. You know, I expected that to happen. Let me just tell you 2 of them who I thought most impressive was. Austin DeSantos. This dude has been crazy all year. This dude is a special wrestler. He has the will, he has the drive to want to be a champion. And I think he will be a champion eventually. But yeah, Austin DeSantos impressed me a lot with all of his matches. His most impressive match to me was a match versus Austin Gomez, the dude who beat him previously from Iowa State. And DeSantos put it on him. He beat him handedly. 16-5. So he got his win back, and he ended up placing 5th. You know, you want to go out on a win, they say. He went out on his win. RBY. I thought Romero Bravo Young was really impressive. He's a young Penn State guy who's going to come in handy for him in the next few years. He wasn't really in handy for, I'm not going to say wasn't handy for him this year. He placed. He gave him points. But, you know, RBY beat Mickey Philippi. Mickey Philippi was supposed to be a title contender this year. And he didn't even All-American. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the crazy part. Mickey Philippi didn't All-American this year. And, but RBY, congratulations to him. Young guy. Could see him in the finals eventually. You know, he'll keep on All-American, hopefully, and keep on working for Penn State. Biggest disappointment, Mickey Philippi. You know, the guy who beat Dayton Fix. The guy who beat Dayton Fix did not All-American. Mickey Philippi was a disappointment this year. You know, you could call it the championship curse where the person from the hometown, I don't know if he's a hometown Pennsylvania guy or not, but he's from Pittsburgh University, does not All-American. You know, we saw this last year whenever I went to Cleveland. Dean Heil, OSU guy, did not All-American. I was very sad about that because I love Dean Heil too. But, yeah, you know, people saying this is the curse of the championship where one of those guys don't All-American from their town where the championship's at. But, yeah, Mickey Philippi, biggest disappointment. Could have been a title contender. Could have been an All-American very easily, but wasn't. Ran into tough RBY in the blood round. So let's move on. Close All-Americans this year. You know, Mickey Philippi. He'll be back next year. Austin Gomez. I think Austin Gomez has the potential to be an All-American. Tariq Wilson. Again, Tariq Wilson ran into John Ernesti. I felt like he should have beat John Ernesti, but he didn't. It happens. And then finally, let's end it with Montorie Bridges. Montorie Bridges is a returning All-American who did All-American this year. And he got beat early in... Now, he didn't get beat in the blood round, but he got beat in like the third round of consolation to Austin Gomez. That shows you how tough that weight is. If you have to face Austin Gomez not in the blood round but the round before, that's a tough weight class. And so I'm going to throw in Corbin Myers in there too. Corbin Myers has the possibility to All-American, but he's going to have to keep working because he ended up getting majored by Tariq Wilson 13-0 in the round before the blood round. So let's end it with this. Non-All-Americans to watch out for next year. Okay, so the one who actually wrestled this year, Montorie Bridges. I believe 100% Montorie Bridges will All-American next year. He's going to upset some people next year. He's going to come back harder worker than he ever has before, and he will upset some people next year. And then the one who didn't wrestle this year, Seth Gross. You know, Seth Gross, medical red shirt, going to be coming up. I think he's going to go to Wisconsin with Bono. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if that happened because he loves Coach Bono. And so Seth Gross, he will I hope he All-Americans this year. I want to see a finals of Fix or him or Gross and Suriano. Man, that's going to be a good bracket next year. That's going to be a tough bracket because the only All-American leaving, Ethan Lezak. So Seth Gross will make an impact next year wherever he may be, whether that be Wisconsin or somewhere else. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Comment, like, share the video. Remember, this is Dunk Under with Austin Pettigrew, and be glad you ducked and covered.